Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo y los pitufos. Los pitufos son los Smurfs, los pitufos. Okay, today we have a pit stop reviewing telling time. Now, hundreds of lessons ago, we had a major lesson on all the aspects of telling time. Today we want to look at some of the major aspects, and we want to show you how this can be a point of difficulty for some non-native speakers when they're trying to tell time in the past or in the future or in the present, and the subjunctive can come in as well. So let's take a look at this review, and hopefully it strengthens your ability to tell time in any time frame and use the subjunctive when necessary. Okay, first of all, when we tell time, we use the verb ser, S-E-R, ser, to be. When you're talking about the 1 o'clock hour, la una, and it's feminine because hora is feminine, 12 horas, 12 hours, right? La una is 1 o'clock. When you talk about 1 o'clock, you must use a singular form of the verb ser. Singular form because the hour is singular. Es la una, it's 1 o'clock. If you want to tell time in the past, you go era. Era la una, it was 1 o'clock. It will be 1 o'clock, será la una, and this has a double meaning. It also can mean when you're guessing what time it is and you don't know what time it is, you're guessing. It can mean it must be, será la una. So será la una means it will be 1 o'clock. Será la una also means it must be 1 o'clock when you're guessing. Va a ser la una, it's going to be 1 o'clock. These será and va a ser, for it will be or it's going to be one, they're basically interchangeable. Sería, sería la una. If you want to guess what time it was in the past, you use the conditional sería. For example, it must have been 1 o'clock, sería la una. You use sería to tell what the time must have been. Guessing what time it was in the past, use sería, sería la una. So all these are singular with la una. But from hours 2 through 12 o'clock, we're going to use the plural form of the verb ser. We have son las dos, it's 2 o'clock. It was 5 o'clock, eran las cinco. Serán, it will be 5 o'clock, serán las cinco. It must be 5 o'clock, serán las cinco. Remember, you use the future of ser to guess what time it is in the present. Van a ser, it's going to be 6 o'clock. Van a ser las seis. Van a ser, it's like serán. They're basically interchangeable. The irá plus infinitive form and the straight future. Serían, if you want to guess what time it was in the past, use the conditional of ser. It must have been 9 o'clock. Serían las nueve. So again, será can mean it will be, serán, it will be, but será and serán also both mean it must be, guessing what time it is in the present. Sería and serían mean it must have been, guessing what time it was in the past. If you add y media to a complete hour, it's the 30. Like it's 8:30, son las 8:30. It was 10:30, eran las 10:30. Y cuarto means a quarter after, menos cuarto means a quarter till, a quarter of the hour. All right, let's take a look at our examples. The first one actually is kind of tricky. One is telling time, and the other one is saying at what time something is going to happen. Let's go for telling time. It's going to be 5. Let's say you're 10 minutes away from 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. It's going to be weekend time. And you look at your watch and you say, it's going to be 5 p.m. Van a ser las cinco. Because it's 5, we know we're going to find our answer in this cluster. Van a ser las cinco. If you say serán las cinco, in 10 minutos, it'll be 5. It's going to be 5 in 10 minutes. It's the same thing. Serán or van a ser, either way. But it's going to be 5. If someone says, like a wedding planner, yeah, the wedding, and someone says, well, when's the wedding going to be? And you say, 5 o'clock. It's going to be 5 o'clock. It's going to be 5 o'clock. Well, in Spanish, that would be, it's going to be va a ser a las 5, at 5 o'clock. And notice when we say va a ser, it would seem to break our rule, right? If you're talking about the 1 o'clock hour, it's singular. If you're talking about 2 to 12, it's plural. For telling time. But we're not telling time when you say it's going to be at 5 o'clock or it's going to be 5 o'clock, like the wedding. Va a ser, in Spanish, we need the a. Va a ser a las 5. That is not telling time. That's just saying at what time an event is going to happen. So I didn't mean to confuse you, but I just want to show you that there are nuances to so many things that we learn, and the better you get at Spanish, you start picking up on them. It was about 6:30 when I woke up. I know it's to awaken, but let's go with I woke up. So 6:30, we're going to be down here, and we're going to say it was. So that's going to be eran. About would be como. Eran como las 6:30. Eran como las 6:30 cuando. To wake up is despertarse. We need the preterite here. It's a one-time thing that you did, you're referring to. Eran las 6:30 cuando me desperté, with an accent on the E at the end. Eran las 6:30 cuando me desperté. It will be a little before 1 when the plane lands. It will be a little before, okay, 1 o'clock, we're up here. It will be right here. Okay, será a little before. Un poco antes. Será un poco antes de la 1. It'll be a little before 1. Será un poco antes de la 1 cuando el avión. Now, this is very important. When you have cuando, if the action after cuando has not happened yet, it must be the present subjunctive. So we need subjunctive here because the plane has not landed yet, right? Será un poco antes de la 1 cuando el avión aterrizar, ZAR, is the infinitive, aterrizar. So the present tense would be aterriza with a ZA. We need to go opposite vowel, aterrice. And that Z changes to C in front of an I or an E. That's important if you're writing. Será un poco antes de la 1 cuando el avión aterrice. It must have been 8 o'clock when it happened. Okay, 8 o'clock, here we are. The answer's in here. It must have been right here. Serían las 8 cuando pasar, in the preterite, pasó. Serían las 8 cuando pasó. It must have been 8 when it happened. You could say ocurrió, aconteció, but we're going to go with pasó because that by far is the most common way to say to happen, pasar. I think it was 5:30. Well, first of all, I think it's either creo que or pienso que. Now in English you can say I think it was 5:30 or I think that it was 5:30. In Spanish you don't have a choice. You must include the que after pienso or creo. Creo que or pienso que. 5:30, our answer is here. It was, it's got to be eran. Creo que eran las 5:30. Pienso que eran las 5:30. It will be around 3:15 when I arrive. It will be around 3:15. Okay, so the answer is going to be here. Will is serán. Serán around como. Serán como las 3:15 or serán como las 3:15 cuando I haven't arrived yet, we need present subjunctive. So take llego, change that O to opposite vowel E. What do you have? Llegue. Serán como las 3:15 cuando llegue. It'll be around 3:15 when I arrive. Serán como las 3:15 cuando llegue. Spanish is beautiful. When you get it right, sweet. It will be 2 o'clock when the game starts. Okay, 2 o'clock, here we are here again. It will be serán. Serán las 2 cuando el partido. You can't say empieza because the game has not started yet, so you need to change that A to the opposite vowel. Serán las 2 cuando el partido empiece with a CE. That Z changes to C in front of an I or an E. It's 1:15. Up here. Es. Es la 1:15. Es la 1:15. Either way. It was 6:45. Well, it's going to be here somewhere. It was. Eran las 6:45. Textbooks will tell you the basic way. Eran las 6:45. But most people cut that E out. Eran las 6:45, just like in English. We don't say it was 6:45. We say it was 6:45. Eran las 6:45. Or you can go to the next complete hour and say, eran las 7, it was 7 minus a quarter. Eran las 7 menos cuarto, or eran las 7 menos 15. It must have been around 9. Here we go again. It must have been. Serían las 9. That's it. Serían las 9. It must have been about 9. Remember, we use a conditional to guess what time it was in the past. We use the future to guess what time it is in the future. Excuse me, in the present tense. It's going to be 10 when I get home. Okay, we're down here somewhere. It's going to be, it will be, right here. You go with van a ser or serán. Let's go with van a ser because it says it is going to be. Van a ser las 10 cuando yo, when I get home. I haven't gotten home yet. Same thing we did right here. Cuando yo llegue. Double L-E-G-U-E. Cuando yo llegue. Or, van a ser las 10 cuando yo llegue a la casa. It was 3:50. We got to be here. Eran las 3:50. Or, eran las 4 menos 10. So there's a good review of time. Remember, a key point is after cuando, if you're referring to an action that has not happened yet, I don't care where the sentence comes from. It doesn't have to be telling time, but if after cuando you are referring to an action that has not happened yet, you must use the present subjunctive. For example, a kid may say, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. It's a girl. She says, quiero ser doctora cuando yo crezca. I'll call you when I get there. Te llamaré cuando llegue. Present subjunctive after cuando, if the action has not happened yet, has to be used. So keep that in mind. That's very important. Remember, if you're talking about the 1 o'clock hour, these are your choices. Será means it will be. Like, it's 10 minutes to 1, you have a lunch date, you're excited, and you say, será la 1 en 10 minutos. It will be 1 o'clock in 10 minutes. Será la 1 en 10 minutos. It'll be 1 o'clock when I arrive. Será la 1 cuando yo llegue. Sería means it must have been. You're guessing what time it was in the past. Sería la 1. It must have been 1 o'clock. You're guessing what time it is now, using the future to guess what time it is now because you don't know. It must be 1 o'clock. Será la 1. And down here, we have the plural forms. Serán means it will be, same as será, but with a plural hour. Sería means it must have been, the same as sería, but with a plural hour. And that's it, not too hard. It's going to be 5 p.m., like if it's a wedding, that's not telling time. You're going to say, va a ser a las 5. You're looking at your watch, it's going to be 5. Van a ser las 5. You're excited. It was about 6:30 when I woke up. Eran como las 6:30 cuando me desperté. It will be a little before 1 when the plane lands. It will be, será, un poco antes de la 1 cuando el avión aterrice. It must have been 8 when it happened. Serían las 8 cuando pasó. I think it was 5:30. Either creo que or pienso que eran las 5:30. It will be around 3:15 when I arrive. It will be. It's plural. We got to go down here. Serán como las 3:15 or las 3:15 cuando yo llegue. It will be 2 when the game starts. Serán las 2 cuando el partido empiece. It's 1:15. Es la 1:15. Es la 1:15. It was 6:45. Eran las 6:45. Or eran las 7:15 or eran las 7:15. It must have been 9, I don't know. No sé. Serían, right here, serían las 9. It's going to be 10 o'clock when I get home. It's going to be, it's going to be van a ser. You could say serán, it's the same thing. It will be, it's going to be, they're interchangeable. Van a ser las 10 cuando yo llegue a la casa. It was 3:50. Eran las 3:50 or eran las 4:10. Now, a quick review. Remember, es and son means it is. Era or eran, it was. Será or serán, it will be, or it must be. Va ser and van a ser, it's going to be. Sería and serían, it must have been. So there you go. There's a quick review of telling time, throwing the subjunctive in there. So again, a common area of difficulty for non-native speakers is saying what time it is, was, or will be, followed with the rest of the sentence. You got to make sure you get it correct. Okay? Es todo por ahora. Hasta la próxima lección. Cuídense mucho. Los quiero mucho. Bye-bye.